Hello, my name is Melissa, and welcome to my channel, Modest Mom. I make content on motherhood and homemaking. I'm a follower of Jesus, and I love to just try to live a more simpler lifestyle. I wanted to discuss the differences in how I care for baby number 1 that I had, and now baby number 4, and also how I've grown in that. And also stay tuned because we had quite a scare in our family this week. So I wanted to discuss about some things that I have grown in and maybe realized things or just grown in as a mother in my journey with motherhood. Motherhood can be difficult at times. It takes a lot of trial and error. It takes a lot of learning, knowing your baby's cues and cries, because as a mother, we know that each cry means something different. You know when they're in pain, you know when they're hurting or when they're sleepy or hungry. And while I make bread in this video, I thought we would just discuss some things that I've learned from my first baby, Luella, to my most recent baby, Lola. I had an older woman not too long ago tell me that I could teach her a few things because of having 4 children, and that just blew me away and just humbled me very much. And I don't feel like I give myself enough credit to think that I'm doing good enough, and when I really should. Luella was my first baby, and I had no clue what I was doing, as we just don't with our first one, and that's where we learn, right? One thing is I was just so on edge. I feel like with my first baby that I just didn't let her cry very much, and I think that's probably to be expected. But I didn't let her cry very much. And now with my 4th one, sometimes I have to let them cry to either tend to the other children or be able to just switch a load of laundry or something. It's actually benefited me and the baby somewhat, I feel like, because I can get released from that anxiety some. And then I have found it benefits the baby because they can learn to be tired, and I lay them down, but maybe they're not fully asleep, and they end up going to sleep sort of on their own, and that has been beneficial, I feel like, for both of us. Now, don't get me wrong, I have my cuddles and my rocking time with the baby and snuggles and all that, but it has benefited us, I feel like, in the long run, and just mostly because I've had to do it. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. As long as they're safe where they're at and comfortable, I think it's okay. And then if they get hysterical, obviously you go get them. Something else that I have been getting into is baby wearing. I never thought I would wear a baby carrier, but it's actually very beneficial. And I just was so intimidated by the thought of it before. But especially with of a morning's making breakfast and the baby is crying or wanting to be held to be put to sleep, it's kind of nice to just have her in there and she'll go to sleep. And a lot of times she'll just stay asleep and I can still do other things around the house. I also used disposable diapers with my first one. There's nothing wrong with that. Right now I do sort of both. I use cloth diapers, especially around the house when I'm home. I have a sprayer attached to my toilet so I can spray out any feces or whatever into the toilet and wash them. And but with my oldest, I just exclusively used the disposables. I use disposables now when I'm away from home, like at church or out and about, things like that. They're sort of nice. But it's actually very beneficial. The cloth diapers are. I have a video on that. I can put a link in the description below. But every penny for every diaper you can save, I think, is a good thing because you go through a lot of them in their lifetime. And so, I've kind of changed on some of that as far as that goes. We also need to give ourselves grace in motherhood, especially after you've had a baby. I know it has been a little rough on me after baby number 4, just sort of rebounding and just telling myself that it'll be okay and I'll get in a more steady routine and it'll level out, Sometimes I get some anxiety after I've given birth and it's difficult to rein in sometimes. And, if you're doing what you feel like is best for you and the baby, and, you're a good mom, and we shouldn't let other people convince us otherwise. Let your spouse lead you and support you during that time, because you're going through so many changes physically, mentally, and even spiritually. We had a little bit of a scare with Lola when she was 2 or 3 weeks old, and I'm going to discuss that with you right now. Hi guys, I thought I would give a little bit of an explanation on sort of just what happened. We just got discharged from the hospital, and long story short, my kids had a cold, and when you have that many kids and sickness runs through your home, it takes a while to get through everybody because it's inevitable, right? It's just part of it. But anyway, it went through each kid, and I thought Lola may have escaped it, but she didn't. I tried my hardest to be like, stay away from Sissy, but she's new to our family, and yeah, I have a 6-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 2-year-old, so it's just inevitable. But she ended up getting the cold, and it turned into RSV. Then I had taken her up to urgent care. They sent me over to the emergency room, and they from there sent me up to a different hospital a little bit of ways away for some different care. She was low in oxygen, so that's mostly the reason why. And when they're that little, RSV is very hard on them, so we ended up giving her oxygen and then weaning her off. And today she's been off oxygen since around 5 a.m. or so, and we're just thanking the Lord for taking care of her, giving her strength to do that better on her own, and she's been holding her own ever since. So we are, you can hear in the back, we are on our way home right now. So that is sort of the story of kind of what's been happening. It was very scary for us as parents. She's only 3 weeks old, and so anyway, I thought I would give a little bit of an update. I think oftentimes as wives and mothers, we often may let Satan creep into our head and speak lies into our head. Or maybe I'm the only one. But we can ask the Lord to help us, and He can give us peace, because, He gives us a grace that only He can give. He sees us when we are weak and hurting. I want to thank everyone for all of their prayers and for watching this video. As a mom and a dad, that was a very, very scary situation to be in, and I'm just glad we got her there in time. And anyway, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all of your prayers and for understanding why I couldn't get a video out. I was perfectly intending on getting one out, but she was my main priority. So thank you all, and may God bless.